You can support me on Patreon for just $1 a month.
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Christian Hannah Horror. We are back here again. Just took kind of a week off, guys. Just kind of resting, recouping. Been a busy time. I read an article the other day on, I believe it was Bloody Disgusting, about horror movie themes, the hard rock horror movie themes, which is a dead art form. I just kind of wanted to give my retrospective on things on this topic, tell you why I think it doesn't happen anymore, and just have you guys look back in the past with me at some of the great songs from these horror movies. First off, this got really prominent in the 80s, the record industry is at an all-time high. Albums are selling gold and platinum everywhere. You've got, all these bands doing these hard rock and metal acts doing these songs for these horror movies. We're in the height of everything. It's truly the golden era. We got Jason, Freddie, Michael, and then they got all these hard rock bands. We got Alice Cooper, Dokken, all these great acts, Bruce Dickinson. And metal and horror just go hand in hand like this. And, it's truly a golden era in my opinion. This cannot be ever duplicated ever again, and that's okay. It's never going to go away. You don't see that anymore. A lot of times nowadays, it's strictly OSTs, original soundtracks, and we still have great music. Music itself is not a lost art form. There is fantastic soundtracks in movies today. For instance, the new Strangers movie had a fantastic score. In my opinion, I thought it was really good. Let's look back at some scores that were really great, and these are songs that were record companies or the movie productions reached out to the record companies and said, hey, can we have this person make a song for the movie? And some of these songs were made for the movie. Now let's take a look at some songs that I did some research on. These people were asked to make a song for the movie. Here's one example I have, and I'll show this to you twice. This is Dokken, Dream Warriors. I have the cassette of this. Dream Warriors is probably the undeniable greatest horror movie soundtrack song ever written. At least in my opinion. Dream Warriors Dokken is just absolutely incredible. I'll go into why I think that, this is a lost art form and why it just doesn't happen any day. There's no monetary incentive anymore. Back in the day when everything was about sales, not downloads and ripping and things like that. Let's say, take a big band nowadays. Let's say Five Finger Death Punch does a song for this new movie. People are gonna hear it and just go on YouTube and listen to it, or YouTube to MP3 it, or some people might buy it. I don't rip music or download music. I still buy music, especially for acts that I enjoy because I want to support them. But let's just face it, that happens. Nobody buys music anymore, so there's no monetary incentive. Let's go back to 1987. Dokken's Dream Warriors come out. Dokken are at the peak of their career. Under Lock and Key is one of the greatest albums from the 80s. They do Dream Warriors for Dokken. People see the movie, hear the song, and they go, good God, this song is awesome. I've got to go buy that. They probably sold over 500,000 copies of this thing. Monetary incentive. Here's another album. This is a very rare French album. I believe it was pressed in France. Freddy's Dead, the final nightmare, music from the motion picture. Goo Goo Dolls, I'm Awake Now, made for the movie, which I don't know was ever on an album from the Goo Goo Dolls. I think the only way you could ever buy this back in the day was getting this album. So Goo Goo Dolls, I'm Awake Now, a great song made for Freddy's Dead. Another album, Nightmare on Elm Street 5. Bring Your Daughter to the Slaughter from Bruce Dickinson. A great song made for the movie, which didn't really end up in the movie. Another song, and this kind of revitalized the band. Pet Sematary, the Ramones, their theme song that was made for the movie, which ended up going out on their next album, that year, Brain Drain. Pet Sematary is a classic. As soon as those opening chords hit, people know Pet Sematary. Another album where a song was made for the movie, and probably one of the greatest horror movie songs ever made, The Man Behind the Mask from Alice Cooper. The song ended up on the Constrictor album as well. A great song made for Friday the 13th Part 6. The words are about the movie. It's about the character of Jason, and it kicks but this song is awesome. The album is awesome. Another one, not as prominent, but a song you guys need to go listen to. It is in the movie, but you have to really listen. That is Prince of Darkness from Alice Cooper, which ended up on the Raise Your Fist and Yell album. Prince of Darkness was a great song from the great John Carpenter movie. If you haven't seen Prince of Darkness, go check it out. I love religious horror and things like that. I'm all into that, so that movie is great. Prince of Darkness ended up on the Raise Your Fist and Yell album. Go check that out. And sometimes, movie companies will reach out to bands and say, hey, can we put this song on the album? Here's a few examples of that. Here is Halloween 5. This is the original soundtrack and music from the motion picture. You've got songs like Romeo, Romeo, Anything for Money, Dancing on Midnight from White Sister. Great songs that were not made for the movie but ended up on the movie. A couple more examples is Nightmare on Elm Street 4, Vinnie Vincent Invasion. Vinnie Vincent, if you don't know, was the guitar player from Kiss who replaced Ace Frehley, went on to do his own band. They did a song called Love Kills. Was not made for the movie. They approached the band and the company, the Chrysalis Records, and said, we really like the song, can we put it in the movie? And they did. Although I don't think it's really in the movie anymore. Maybe in old versions of Nightmare on Elm Street 4, the theatrical version, you can probably hear the song. But great song if you haven't heard it. And one of my favorite soundtracks of all time I want to show you guys is Return to the Living Dead Part 2. No songs were made for the movie, but you've got great songs from Anthrax, and you've got a great song from Julian Cope, Space Hopper. Rock music just isn't in horror movies anymore, and it's really... I wish they could bring it back, but I think one of the big reasons for this back in the day was monetary incentive from the record companies. They could have a band put out a song, like Dream Warriors is probably the best example. This great song that goes out, and then they can sell copies of that song like crazy. I think that was a lot of it. It really is a shame, but let's not just be upset about it. Let's appreciate what it was and all the great music we got from it. You go on YouTube right now, and you just go type in Doc and Dream Warriors. Go look in the comment section. What are you going to see people saying in the comment section? Nightmare on Elm Street 3, Dream Warriors, love the movie. I fell in love with this song. I remember being at the theater when I saw this. Go look up Goo Goo Dolls, I'm Awake Now. Oh, man, when this kicked in and Freddy's Dead, it was awesome. A lot of times these movies can boost a band up. I know that was big for the Goo Goo Dolls because they were really coming into their own in the early 90s. Now, in 98, they had a huge hit. But, a lot of these songs helped... A lot of these songs for the movies helped the band, and sometimes vice versa. Having Alice Cooper in Friday the 13th, 6, solidifies the movie being bad A, at least in my opinion. So, I just wanted to kind of go back in memory lane with you guys and look at some of these records and songs that were made for movies, and just kind of talk about it. It really is a great thing to look back on. So, while it may be a dead art form, it's still something that was just golden era. So, this was fun. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. I really enjoyed making this. If nobody watches this, it's okay. I'll watch this myself and look back at it. But tell me what you guys' favorite songs are from horror movies, and tell me if there's one I'm not thinking of that is just as big that I'm not remembering. Hellraiser from Motorhead for Hellraiser 3, I believe. Great song. I love Motorhead. So, yeah, guys, let me know in the comment section below what some of your favorites are. And this is Christian Hannah Horror. We'll see you guys next